Just wrapping up mowing on my buffalo grass lawn. This was about the 10th mowing or so on this lawn. Seeded it back in May, and it's about the first week of August, and it's come along quite nicely. Most of us think that buffalo grass is low maintenance, and it is fairly low maintenance after the first year of establishment. The first year we have to keep it watered, we have to mow it. Like I said, it's been about 10 mowings on this, and keep it regularly fertilized. I've applied 3 or 4 applications of fertilizer, and be pretty aggressive with the weed control. This particular site of mine has lots of foxtail, goosegrass, little love grass, has everything under the sun, and so I had to be pretty aggressive with the weeds. Otherwise, they'll outcompete the relatively slow-growing buffalo grass. And once we have it grown in, which it's almost fully grown in, still has about another month to grow in, and it will move in with stolons. It's forming pretty aggressive stolons right now, and has another month or so to grow in. It'll be relatively low maintenance. Normally we'll get about 1, maybe 2 applications of fertilizer, about 1 pound of nitrogen in June and July. Mowing is a little bit more relaxed. I'll probably mow once every 3 to 4 weeks at 3 inches. And the nice thing about buffalo grass, it's so slow growing that if you happen to miss a mowing or don't have quite the schedule, you can go a couple more days without much of a problem. And then one of the most important things you can do with buffalo grass is weed control in the fall. Once it's gone dormant, October, November, I like Thanksgiving, apply Roundup over the top of that. It will control the vast majority of weeds. Also, maybe a broadleaf weed application will also work to help that buffalo grass. Since it is slow growing, it's not very competitive with weeds. So we do have to use a little bit of weed control to keep buffalo grass as good looking as it can be. This is the native grasses I established about the same week, about almost the same time that I did the buffalo grass, so it's about the first week of May. And these have come in very nicely. We've had a great summer with plenty of water, plenty of rain, and just like the buffalo grass, it's important to spend a little time in keeping this mowed, to keep down most of the weeds, keeping it watered if you can. You can't always do that, but keeping it watered, applying, a fairly frequent fertilizer. I applied fertilizer 2 or 3 times this summer on this. And then the other thing I used on this was fairly frequent herbicides, because again, this site is just loaded with lots of different weeds. You can see a couple of them in here. And if I don't aggressively mow it, as well as apply herbicides to control the weeds, then they will tend to dominate the warm season grasses. And a little bit of weeds are certainly tolerable, but by the frequent mowing, I've mowed this area about 3 or 4 times, and it really cuts down on the amount of weed pressure that you have. This is a low maintenance area. It'll receive a mowing about once a year, Roundup in the fall, and maybe a broadleaf herbicide in the fall. It'll be a really low maintenance site for this property.